Good morning all. Welcome to Conduct Learning, How to Learning with Study. So we are at a chapter Carbon and its Compound, and this is the fourth chapter for class 10 science. In this chapter, first of all, we will understand what is a carbon, what its atomic number, what about its electronegativity, density, melting point, boiling point, etc. These all properties are the chemical properties of the carbon. So first of all, the atomic number of carbon is 6. That means to say the electron configuration for the carbon is 2 and 4 only. It's K cell having the 2 electrons and the L cell having the 4 electrons. The electronegativity of the carbon is 2.5. The electronegativity is defining the carbon can only take the electrons but can't give. It is a non-metal. It is also defining electronegativity is also defining the carbon is non-metal because the electronegative element can only take the electron but can't lose its electrons. So that's why it's having the electronegative nature. And electronegativity of carbon is 2.5 only. If we talk about the density of the carbon, the density is always defined by the mass upon volume. And particularly for carbon, the density is 2.2 gram per centimeter cube at 20 degrees Celsius. After that, the melting point of the carbon is 3652 degrees Celsius and the boiling point is 4827 degrees Celsius. The melting point and the boiling point of the carbon can be vary according to its different compounds. The radius for the carbon is 0.091 nanometer. Nano is defining 10 raised to power minus 9. If we talk about its ionic radius, it will be different for its negative ion and positive ion. For negative ion, the radius is 0.26 nanometer and for positive ion, the radius is 0.015 nanometer. The last one is the isotopes. Carbon having the three isotopes. First of all, what is the isotope? Isotope is defining the same element with different physical property and same chemical properties. Accordingly, the carbon having the three different isotopes like C12, C13 and C14. In these three, C13 is a stable carbon isotope. The next is the occurrence of carbon. Carbon normally found in the atmosphere in the earth crust or in all living organisms. If we collect random materials, then we can find carbon in it, but in form of its compound, but not in pure form. Right? So carbon is present in the earth crust or in living organism, and carbon is also present in inorganic compound also, like wood, coal, charcoal, coke, petroleum, natural gas, biogas, marsh gas, etc. They all are the they all are the they all things are containing the carbon. Carbon present in its compound form like carbonate, hydrocarbonates, hydrogen carbonates basically. Carbon is found in free state as diamond, graphite and fluorines. Fluorines is a third one. Here the diagram is representing where the carbon is present. Like first one is a wood. In wood we can found the carbon. If we will burn the wood, then it will be produce carbon dioxide. So that we can say that in the wood there is a carbon. The same is for charcoal. If we will burn the charcoal, it also produce carbon dioxide like gases. So that's why we can say that it is having carbon in it, because that carbon is reacting with the oxygen present in the air, so that's why it formed the carbon dioxide. The third one is a diamond. Diamond is a pure state of carbon. It is a pure state of carbon, and it is the one allotop of the carbon which is shining and lustrous. The last one is a coal. Coal is also the carbon. Bonding in carbon. Carbon makes covalent bond to form carbon compound. Previously we have done the ionic bonds. We have done how metals with metals and metals with non-metals formed an ionic compound. The ionic compound was based on losing and gaining the electrons, and they were having the high melting and boiling point. But when we come toward the carbon, then carbon makes only the covalent bond. And why? It's only make a covalent bond. The reason is that it can't lose or gain the electrons. Why? Because the atomic number of carbon is 6 and its electronic configuration is 2 and 4. That means to say The carbon is having 2 electron in its K shell and 4 electron in its L shell. So to be get octet and to be get stability or to be get the normal configuration, it require 4 electrons. Either it can give that 4 electrons or either can take 4 electrons to be get stable. That means to say the carbon is tetravalent in nature. Tetravalent means to say it have 4 valence electron. 4 valence electrons. So if we simply draw the carbon electron configuration, it can be like that. In K shell, carbon having 2 electrons only, 1, 2, and in L shell, it having 4 electrons, 1, 2, 3, like 4. So to be get stable, it required either 4 electrons, either it have to lose 4 electrons. But it is not possible in carbon. Why? It does not gain 4 electrons because it is very difficult for carbon nucleus to hold 10 protons. Sorry, for 10 electrons with 6 protons only. So it is very difficult for it. And if it loses its 4 electrons, it required very huge amount of energy for that. So that's why both type of losing or gaining is not possible for it. So that's why the carbon can't make the ionic bond. That's why it switched toward the covalent bonds. The covalent bond is basically based on the sharing of electrons, not gaining or losing, but the sharing of the electrons. So it will be share its 4 electrons with other elements or other atom to attain the covalent bonds. Carbon either can share 4 electrons with its another carbon atom or with another element also to make covalent bonds. The 4 vacancy in the carbon is represented here in this figure also. That is represented either by cross or either by this line. Comparison between the covalent and ionic bond. Carbon form the covalent bond. Non-metal and metals or metals combination form ionic bond. The covalent bond are soluble in organic compound, but ionic bond are not soluble in organic solvents. Solvent are the material which is having large amount and in which we have a solute to dissolve in the solvent. Solute having the less amount, solvent having the large amount. So organic solvent can dissolve the covalent compound, but it can't dissolve the ionic compound. Covalent bond can't be ionized because it do not have cation or anion. It do not lose or gain the electrons, it just share the electrons. So that's why they do not ionize. But ionic compound can be ionized, but in the molten state only. Molten state is a state where we will heat the ionic compound and they will get melt. So it is the only state where the ionic compound can be ionized. The third one is the covalent bond are bad conductor of heat and electricity. The reason behind is that they do not form ions. They do not form ions to conduct the electricity. So that's why the covalent bond are bad conductor of heat and electricity. On the other hand, ionic compound can conduct the heat or electricity both because they can be form ions to conduct the charge or electricity or heat. The covalent bond having the weak force of attraction between the molecules. On the other hand, ionic compound having the strong force of attraction between the molecules. And why it's so? The covalent bond are weak in nature because they made after sharing of the electrons. But the ionic compound or ionic bond are formed after losing and gaining of the electrons. So that's why they having the force of attraction, huge force of attraction between positive and negative ions. So that's why it's difficult to break the bond between the ionic compound. They are having high force. If we come across the melting and boiling point of the carbon compound, it is very less. There are some compound of carbon like acetic acid. It is CH3COOH, chloroform CH3Cl2, CHCl3, ethanol CH3CH2OH, and methane CH4. They all are the compounds. And their melting and boiling point is given in Kelvin degree. 1 Kelvin is equal to minus 273.15 degrees Celsius. So you can convert that Kelvin into degrees Celsius and you can understand how much less melting and boiling point these compounds are having. If we convert 90 to degree Kelvin to degree Celsius, then you will be found that it will be around 90 minus 270 degree. So it will be around 180 to 190 minus 180 minus 180 around degree Celsius. So this compound having that much less melting and boiling point in it. The formula for finding the for converting the Kelvin to degree Celsius is only take degree Kelvin and minus it from 273.15. You will be have degree Celsius value of this temperature. So if you minus 90 here minus 273, you can find out what degree Celsius of temperature the methane have as a melting point. It will be in minus degree Celsius. It will be around 1.15, 3 and 1, and it will be, if we convert 17 minus 9, then it will be round 8. This will be the, it is in minus. Next is the formation of covalent bond. It is very much important. Covalent bond is a chemical bond formed by sharing of electron between the atoms, as I told you before. The sharing of one pair of electron results in formation of single bond. If you just only share one electron between the two different atoms, then they will be form a single covalent bond and it will be represented by this single line. If there is a sharing of two electrons between the two atoms, the formation of the bond will be double covalent bond and it will be represented by these two lines. If there is a three pair of electrons, that means to say three electrons are shared in between the two atoms, the bond will be formed as triple covalent bond and it will be represented by these three lines. These two or three electrons pairing will be a unsaturated covalent bond. Otherwise, the single electron sharing will be the saturated covalent bond. The first one is the formation of single covalent bond, and the example is for hydrogen. As we all well know, the atomic number for hydrogen is 1. It is having 1 electron in its shell. So to be get stable, hydrogen required one more electron, and it will be, if it will be make a bond with its another atom of hydrogen, then the bond will be formed as covalent bond. So how it formed that bond? Let's see. The bond in hydrogen molecule is S2. The atomic number of hydrogen is 1 and the electron configuration is 1 only. It is having one valence electron. So it need one to be get stable. So that's why it will be make a bond which is known as covalent bond with its another atom of hydrogen, and the bonding is representing there. Here a one hydrogen atom with one electrons being a valence electron here. Another hydrogen atom with its valence electron is here. They will share their one electron with each other and the both will be get stable. That means to say, now the hydrogen having the two electrons with it, one electron of its own and one electron from the another atom of hydrogen. Same is for the another atom of hydrogen. It is having one electron of its own and the one electron from the first hydrogen atom, and they will form H2. This is known as covalent bonding, that is based on sharing of the electrons. Another is the double covalent bond, and the example is for oxygen. We know the atomic number of oxygen, that is 8, and the electron configuration for oxygen is 2 and 6. That means to say, in oxygen, in its first shell, that is a K shell having 2 electrons, and in the L shell of the oxygen is having 6 electrons. To be get stable, oxygen requires 2 electrons at least, so that it will become 8. So how it form a double covalent bond with another oxygen atom? Let's see. Two oxygen atom will share its 2 electrons. Here you see this first oxygen atom is having 2 plus 2 plus 2, 6 atom in its valence shell, and the another atom of oxygen is also having 2, 2 and 2, this 6 electron in its valence shell. So they both atom will share its 2 electron with each other and make double bond with each other. That is double covalent bond. This is here. When oxygen will share its 2 electron in its valence shell with the another oxygen atom, it will be get stable, and it will make stable another atom also, another atom of oxygen also. Here you can calculate oxygen now after sharing having 2 electrons this, 2 electrons this 4, 2 electrons this 6 and 2 electrons this 8. Now the first oxygen atom is stable. The another oxygen atom which is having 2 electrons there, 2 electrons there, that means this is total 4. After that 2 electrons this, that means total 6, and after that 2 electrons this, that means to say 8 total. So it will also become stable. But the bond formed between them is double covalent bond. The another example is for triple covalent bond, and the example is nitrogen. We all know that the atomic number for nitrogen is 7. That means to say the electron configuration for nitrogen is, in first shell is having 2 electrons and the second shell is having 5 electrons. So it required at least 3 electrons to be get stable, so that it will be having 8 total electron in its outermost shell. So we will take 2 nitrogen atoms. First one is this and second one is this. Here in the first nitrogen atom having 5 valence electron in its outermost shell. First, second, third, fourth and fifth. Same is for the another nitrogen atom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, these both nitrogen atom will share their 3 electrons with each other and become stable. So you can see here how the sharing is happened. The nitrogen is getting stable. The first atom of nitrogen is getting stable. How? It is having 8 electron after sharing. The first electron, the second electron, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. The first nitrogen atom is getting stable. The another nitrogen atom is also get stable after sharing. How? It is having 1 electron now, 2 electron, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. Now it's having the 8 electron in its outermost shell also. So that's why it is getting stable, and the bond is formed is triple bond between nitrogen and nitrogen. So this is how the single, double and triple bond is formed between the different atom after sharing of electrons. There are some another examples also. This example is for 2 hydrogen atom, which we have already done, where the 2 hydrogen atoms are sharing 1 electrons with each other. This is a 1 hydrogen atom with 1 electron in its valence shell, and the another hydrogen atom with 1 electron in its valence shell. When they both combine, they share its each 1 electrons. 1, 2. Now this hydrogen atom having the 2 electrons, and this hydrogen atom is also having the 2 electrons, and they are forming hydrogen molecules, that is H2. Because 2 atoms when combined, they form molecules. Another example is for fluorine. Fluorine having 2, 4, 6, 7 electron in its valence shell. Now fluorine required 1 electron to be get stable. So it will be make a bond with the another fluorine atom. The both will share its 1 electron. Now this fluorine atom is getting stable after sharing the 1 electron. How? Now the atom in their valence shell is 2, 4. Electron in its valence shell is 2, 4, 6 and 8. For another atom, it is say 2, 4, 6 and 8. The both fluorine atom is getting stable and form the fluorine molecule. In the both of these cases, for hydrogen and fluorine, the bond is single bond. Now we switch toward the another atoms of different elements, because in the previous case the both atoms are from the same element. Both atoms are from the hydrogen, both atoms are from the fluorine. Now we having the two atoms from different elements. One atom is from the oxygen, another atom is from the carbon. So first of all we have to know about the electron configuration of or atomic number of oxygen. Oxygen is having 8 electron atomic number. So if it is having the 8 atomic number, so it will be having 2 4 configuration. That means to say it will be have 2 electrons in first shell and 4 electrons in second shell. So it required 2 electron to be get stable, right? It is, sorry, not 4, it is a 6. So the oxygen required 2 electrons to be get stable. On the other side, the carbon having the atomic number 6 and its electron configuration is 2 and 4, and it is required 4 electron to be get stable. So how they will form CO2, that is carbon dioxide. Here we are using 2 molecules of oxygen. That means to say oxygen will share its 2 electrons with carbon atom on the both of sides. One atom this side and one atom this side. You can see the carbon is sharing its 2 electrons with this oxygen 2 electrons. Now oxygen is get stable 2, 4, 6, 8. Oxygen is stable here, and the carbon is also stable 2, 4, 6 and 8. And this oxygen atom is also stable 2, 4, 6 and 8, and they form CO2, carbon dioxide. This is an example for two different atoms from two different elements. Another example is for fluorine and carbon. Here fluorine having 4 more atoms and carbon having one atom. You can see this figure to check it. Same for this. This 2 is represented 2 atoms for oxygen and nothing is written there, so that meant to say the 1 atom for carbon, right? So and 1 molecules or atom for this carbon. The carbon need 4 electrons to be get stable and fluorine need 1 electrons to be get stable. So they will be having sharing. Now we can see the carbon is covered with fluorine atom. It's all around. The fluorine will be have 1 electrons from carbon and to be get stable. So now the fluorine having the 2, 4, 6 and 8 electron in its shell. Here the fluorine also get 1 electron from carbon and get stable 2, 4, 6 and 8. Same for this fluorine atom also 2, 4, 6 and 8. Here I will write, and 2, 4, 6 and 8 here. Now each fluorine give its 1 electron or share its 1 electron with carbon, so that's why the carbon is also get stable. 1 electron when it will be get from this one fluorine atom, the carbon will be getting total 2 electrons. When carbon will be getting its 1 electron from fluorine and 1 from it on it will be having total 2 electrons here. Same way 1 electron from fluorine and 1 its on, it will be having 2 electrons here. 1 from fluorine and 1 from one of its own electron, it will be having 2 electrons here. So the carbon will total have the 8 electrons and it will be get stable. That is carbon tetrafluoride. So it in this way it make a bond and to be and get stable. So here is the example for the 2 atoms from same element and 2 atoms from different elements and the covalent bond of single and double bonds. Next is the allotrope of carbon. Carbon having the three allotropes: diamond, graphite, and fluorine. And these allotropes are there in the present in the figure. These allotropes of the carbon are joined by strong covalent bonding, but they have in the different arrangements, and so that's why their properties are different. For example, the diamond is a carbon allotrope and having 3D bonding with the 3D covalent bonding. So it's hard in nature. It is lustrous in physical state, and it is having high melting and boiling point. On the another side, graphite make hexagonal bonding, hexagonal covalent bonding. It is very slippery surface. It is not hard as like diamond, but is a pure form of carbon. The next last is the fluorine. Fluorine is making the football shaped structure with single and double pairing of covalent bond. So these all are only the pure state of the carbon. Rest of the carbon are carbon compound.